for being here today. I just wanted to do a quick video on a couple of things today. One, covering a few of my outdoor boxes with some row cover just to prevent bugs from chewing on things. And then I also wanted to go into watering and feeding like my tomato plants and a lot of the things that I've started inside in preparation for outdoor transplant. If you recall, we did start a few of our items here a few weeks back. We've got the radish with the mustard green, lettuce, and the arugula here, and they're all sprouting up nicely. Radish is a rather quick yield. You can pretty much harvest about 24 to 30 days after you have planted. So those are coming up really great, and here in a few weeks or so we should be able to harvest some radish bulbs. What I like to do once I start seeing my seedlings, I'm sorry, I've got my glasses here, seeing my seedlings sprout is preemptively fight against those bugs. I like to try to do everything as organic as possible. I don't like spraying my food down with anything. So what I like to use, grab these here, are these row covers. It's just like a little white netting here. It allows water when it rains to go through. It allows sunlight through. It's very breathable, so the plants can, get plenty of airflow. But it prevents the bugs from being able to actually access the food and like laying eggs, especially like the white butterflies. They leave the cabbage looper seeds, eggs, and those can just decimate your garden lickety split. So what I like to do with these, and with this one here, because I'll just leave these closely together here, is bring these here. And I do just want to say, everybody that have visited my channel and subscribed, thank you very much. If you're just, sorry about the airplane there, but if you're just now kind of finding my channel, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. For all of our, hopefully that plane passes up here soon. I don't know if you can see it, it's right over there. Those darn planes. But again, if you're just finding her new and watching and like it, please hit that like and subscribe. Again, I'd really appreciate that. But you're just gonna take this, and what you do is very simple. What I like to do is I'll just lay it right over here. And this one's already pre-sized from last season. And then even in the fall, because I keep this one pretty much close to my back door here, in the winter, fall, I continue to keep lettuce going. Lettuce and arugula, I continue to have those, and I keep these covered so in those colder months, it does have, helps with a little bit of insulation for those things here. But very simple, nothing to it. Once I get these laid here, I just take my like binder paper clip things here. I bought these on Amazon, and I really didn't end up needing them. I'm like, what can I use these for? And then I had a light bulb moment. I can use these are great. And just clip it on just like that. And you kind of see a little excess here. As the lettuce and the plants grow bigger, you can always hike that up and then lift that up a little bit to give it a little bit more room there. But right now, as they're still small seedlings, I like to just kind of pull it taut here. And just like that. And then this is gonna help, again, prevent any bugs from coming in and enjoying this part. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then I should have a couple more here, and I'll put those on the ends. Thank you, my daughter is assisting me here and handing these off. Lovely assistant here. Again, nothing super fancy. And sometimes if you have a little excess on the edge, you know what, that's okay. You can kind of roll and fold that up here. And on the end ones, I do fold that clip down, just again to help prevent it from flying off. That's our first step today. So there we go. And this works great. not only for small containers here, but I will actually utilize this in our garden. We'll put up our row hoops and we'll put our row covers on. That's gonna, again, give our, now we've got the birds chiming in. That'll give our fruits and vegetables that we're gonna be planting protection from birds, bugs, aphids, white flies, cabbage loopers, the whole variety of different things that can come across trying to, decimate your garden. This is a great way to combat that without having to worry about sprays and whatnot. I personally don't like using those, but there's so many other organic remedies that you can use to help combat pests in your yard. All right, what we're gonna do next, like I said, this is a two-part. We're gonna go inside and go over our watering and feeding of our indoor plants, getting those nice and healthy for outdoors here soon. Join me in just a moment. Hi, welcome back. We've moved indoors where it's about 10 degrees warmer than it is outside. Like I said, rather short video today on feeding. As you can see, we've got, things are looking so good. I'm so excited. We've got our red robin cherry tomatoes here. I've got my Siberian tomatoes over here. And it's not that big of a deal at this point, but I've been trying to keep them separated because I don't want them to cross-pollinate. But I think I'm okay because I don't have any flowers quite yet. So once they do flower, if I want to stay true to what I have, keep them separated. But anyway, this video is about watering and feeding. Tomatoes are heavy feeders. And regardless of the fact that they're a heavy feeder, we have our onions, we've got our bell pepper, we even got our flowers, we've got I've got another little romaine variety of lettuce that I did plant. I've got our cucumbers and zucchinis. So we want to keep all of that healthy and strong so that when they do move outside, they've got all those nutrients they need to develop delicious fruits, vegetables for us to enjoy. So with the watering, I had touched on this several videos back. You don't want to overwater, but you also don't want to underwater. Just pay attention to what your plants are doing. Sometimes if they're, in need of water, they'll kind of droop down. If they're overwatered, they can also droop. But you want to give the finger test. You can just pop your finger into the soil at least about to your fingertip or so. If it does feel dry, go ahead and water. But when you water, don't water from the top. You want to water from the bottom. And if I pull this up, you'll notice I have all these drainage holes. Not only did I make a ton of holes this way to allow for the draining, but it's when I water to allow the water to wick upwards. And that way, those roots are really getting that water that they need. Sometimes what can happen is if you water from the top, you're splashing the dirt onto the leaves. There'll, whatever bacteria or what have you that are in the soil can get up onto the leaves, and then you run into issues with fungal diseases on your plants. You can also get dampening off, which is basically like a fungal disease that gets on top of the soil, and it's almost like white fuzz, almost like a mold, mildew type thing you get there. The best way to prevent all of that is water from the bottom. Got these in a little basin here. It's like a couple inches tall. And what I'm going to do today is I've got my watering can here already filled with water and our fertilizer. So at this point, I've started feeding my plants here with a 511 fish fertilizer, and this is Alaska fish fertilizer. This is relatively inexpensive at the store. I want to say I think I paid maybe $5-6 for this at my local hardware store. This concentrate, because you only need about a tablespoon or so, will last me a whole season and beyond, quite frankly. The downside to it is because I do start indoors, when I start feeding, it does, it doesn't smell the best, but the smell goes away after, a little while. Open the window, get a little breeze there. So I do that to get them nicely fed. When should you feed your plants? That's also another question that people might have. if you're new to this and you're not an experienced gardener, when do you feed your plants? Let me show you here. Ideally, we'll start with the cucumbers here. Ideally, you want to start feeding your plants when they have, their true leaves. The cucumbers here, because you see the first true leaf is just now developing. So this is not a good time to fertilize quite yet, because they're still getting their nutrients from their initial sprouting leaves, from the seed and all that. So we'll give these another few weeks or so to develop those true leaves. And once they've had several sets of true leaves, then you can start to fertilize these. So these are still too young. But if you look at the tomatoes here, or even, let me show you here, or even the bell pepper, you see, look, all these leaves. This is their first set of true leaves, and this is the secondary set of true leaves here. Well, actually, this has 1, 2, 3 sets of true leaves. These are the first leaves that when they're sprouting and then merging there. So those are the condylites there. So at this point, if you've got your plants at home and you're not sure, if they start looking like this, go ahead and start fertilizing them. You can fertilize them on a weekly basis, every couple weeks, whatever you like to do. I do mine every couple of weeks. Don't want to over fertilize, because at the same time, all that nitrogen, you'll get beautiful leaf growth, but you also want to be sure that you're going to get that production of the fruit there. So in case you had a question on when to do that, there you go. Like I said, all we're going to do, now that I've got my fertilizer mixed in here, my watering can, just ever so gently, and you might notice, like, why do I have one of these pads here down? Just in case you have an accident or something. I tend to be quite clumsy, so if I spill something, it'll absorb onto here. And when I do this, I don't just put a couple of dribbles and that's it. Nope, I take it all the way up to just about the rim here, and then we're gonna just let those have a good soak there, absorb all that water, those nutrients there, get these nice and healthy, give these a good drink. And there we go. That is it. And then after a while, we'll let these just kind of sit in here for a little bit, maybe 10, no, probably 15, 20 minutes. And then once those are all done, we'll just take them out and set them into another basin, because this is also what I do. It's like a whole production here. So they'll go from the watering basin to this other container, just to let any excess water drain out properly. That way they're not sitting there soaked and waterlogged on the roots. So I give them a good draining before I put them back into the containers that they're being kept in until they get to go outside. All right. Again, if you have anything to add to this, if you're an experienced gardener, a new gardener, any questions or comments, please feel free to put those in that comment section down below. If you haven't already and you'd like today's video, please hit that subscribe button and that like with a thumbs up there. All right. Otherwise, I hope you have a great, wonderful weekend. Have a fantastic Easter, and I'll see you on the next video.